Hello, guys, and welcome to a new episode of the Real Football Talk Show. I'm your host, Hassan. Here with me today, I have Adil and I have Maruf. Today, we will be discussing about Manchester City versus Tottenham Hotspur. My first question goes out to Maruf. Um, it's about the lineup with regards to Tanganga coming in. Um, Tottenham's Tottenham on Jose spent 14 million Doherty, but for some reason they they went for a centre back who's now playing right back for this game. What's the reason behind it?
I think it was fairly clear that he was fully aware of City's attacking threat. So I don't think he wanted to start with a wing back, let's just say as such. Otherwise, normally you have Serge Aurier and you have Reguilon, as a wing back playing up and down. But today you just can see he just went for a solid right back and a left back. He just couldn't take the risk. He was just playing on the back foot. Even from tactically, he was just being a bit too defensive from my point of view. I think that's why he went for Tanganga, who I thought played really well. But yeah, I think that's my reason, I think, as to why he went for Tanganga rather than Doherty.
Are there anything to add on that?
But I actually thought, obviously, Doherty and both Serge Aurier are probably more circumspect in their defending. They're what you call attacking fullbacks. I thought Tanganga was a big part of Jose Mourinho's plan to try and attack City. So I actually saw it as, even though it looks like a negative move, putting a centre back out there, I actually think he did it with the intention of making the team more attacking. Because in the first half, Tanganga was coming in very narrow, so he was also helping Sanchez out because of the runs of Bernardo and Guendogan. So he was very narrow, but then quick enough to come out to Sterling or Foden when they switched. So I actually think the intention behind it was quite positive, because I didn't see Lucas Moura tracking back much and doubling up or supporting. So I actually feel like, even though it looked like a very defensive decision, the intention was to allow Spurs attacking players more freedom and have Tanganga do that dual role of playing right back plus tucking in as a centre back, much like Ben Davies did on the other side. I mean, the fullbacks did not offer look to push up, but also the wing backs did not look to come back. They stayed high up the whole game. You didn't see like previous games where Song sometimes is following his man, dropping in, Kane dropping in. That didn't happen. So I think it was definitely part of Jose's game plan. And it was actually with the intention of trying to make Spurs more positive and leaving numbers up top.
I mean, on that, what would you say your summary of the first half, and with regards to the penalty? Was it a penalty or was it not a penalty?
It was a penalty, but just like quite a few of the decisions recently, I mean, Jose Mourinho called it a VAR penalty in his post-match conference, but it's a penalty. It's an unfortunate one. I mean, Højbjerg was playing for the skill or the back heel, and obviously, Guendogan missed the back heel. Then now it looks like a clumsy challenge. But quite a lot of games we watch in the Premiership, it's like that, where you see just the slightest of touch on the ball, but the follow through is quite a lot. And that's what happens in the box in the Premiership. It's such a fast-paced tempo that is played in the Prem, that a lot of these defenders go flying in, and it literally comes down to whether you get a touch or not. I mean, sometimes there's been penalties where it's literally touched the toenail, and that's what stopped it from being a penalty.
I mean, Maruf, you seem to be disagreeing.
No. I mean, so this is my opinion of it, right? Is when I saw it real time, I thought it was stone cold pen, but my opinion changed when I saw the replays. And if you actually have a look, the initial contact was initiated by Guendogan when he actually bit into his Achilles, Højbjerg's Achilles, hence why he slipped and made that, contact with Guendogan. That's what I saw. I was very, very surprised that, the ref didn't, look into VAR a bit more, and VAR didn't actually review it thoroughly. That's what I thought. But in real time, to me, that was a pen, stone cold pen. But when you look into
I think you definitely need to watch with magnifying glass. It's clear pen, man. Højbjerg made contact. Højbjerg
did not make the initial contact.
It's unfortunate. I'm not sure. Unlucky, but there's, even Jose Mourinho doesn't agree with you. Even Jose Mourinho didn't even say it's not a pen. He just said it's a VAR pen.
Guys,
the slightest contact, and that's it.
Good points.
No, I disagree.
Good points, but if you look at Højbjerg's action and where he's heading to, he's heading towards Guendogan, and there's no way he's stopping that. So Guendogan's turning back. Of course, Højbjerg's going to catch him, and you know what happens in the Premier League.
Gundogan completely lost the ball, but I think that's not my justification as to why it shouldn't be a pen. My justification was that the initial contact was initiated by Guendogan. It was not done by Højbjerg, and that was clear on the Sky Sports replays as well. It showed that the initial contact was made by Guendogan as he slipped. His foot caught Højbjerg's Achilles, and that caused him to go and smack into Guendogan, which obviously in real time, you put that in real time, that just looks like straight away penalty.
Højbjerg went into Guendogan's legs. It's as simple as that. He wasn't there. He anticipated the ball going behind him. He made contact. It's very clear. Okay, so but either way, VAR, video assistant referee, Pep, all the Sky pundits, and Jose Mourinho, may I add Jose Mourinho as well, all agree it is a pen. It's a VAR pen, and I do understand Mourinho's point when he says VAR pen. Everything looks more clear cut than it is, but contact is contact. This is the way modern football is now.
This is why I disagree when Mourinho says it's the VAR pen. VAR didn't pick that up. It was the ref. Ref gave it. He looked at it within 5 seconds. Boom, he gave it as a pen. So that's why I totally disagree with what Mourinho was saying. It was a VAR pen. No, it was not a VAR pen. It was given by the ref, stone cold. It was not a decision that was overturned by VAR.
But that's his point. It'll never get overturned by VAR because all VAR will see is contact was made. And so they'll back the decision of the referee. So that's what he means. But either way, I don't think anyone can deny City were by far the better team. And the goal, they deserved. And, the penalty, I would have more questions for Lloris. He got a full hand on that. Full hand. If he had everything behind that shot. It wasn't a great penalty. It wasn't hit hard. It was on the ground. And certainly I would raise more questions about Lloris's performances recently and Lloris's
I was going to ask you, Lloris hasn't been really covering his back that much, to be honest, and carrying the weight. He's been making a lot of mistakes. What's your take on Lloris's form and how he's played?
I thought his decision making has been poor lately, especially on the second goal that was put through by Sterling. I was like, you can tell he was caught in two minds. Do I go with my hand or do I spread my legs out? And then, you know what? Like Adil said that, the football is so fast in the Premier League that you don't have that time. You need to make a decision and you need to execute, not be caught in the middle of a decision. It doesn't work in the Premier League. You do that and you're done. And that's exactly what happened. And they were punished.
What I would say is Lloris's form is in stark contrast to what Mourinho says. So if you look at the 6 weeks ago, Mourinho was very bullish about claiming Lloris is the best goalkeeper in the Premiership. Since then, it's like Lloris could not handle the pressure that his own manager put. Since then, I mean, Lloris has been dodgy for a couple of seasons, it's fair to say. But the blunders he's making recently is even worse than what the form he's been showing, inconsistent form he's been showing. It's now got to a level where you can solely fault at least 6-7 goals just on Lloris's goalkeeping. If you look at the cup game against Everton, he was beaten near post, and he clearly has a problem with that right hand side of the he either and if you look at Guendogan's first goal, he overcompensates for the mistakes he made in the Everton match. So in the Everton match, he was so close to his post that every shot was going in past his left-hand side.
Corner, yeah.
So what he done this game is the total opposite. He stays and leaves that gap in the near post. So it just shows how lacking in confidence Lloris is, and that he's been off form for a while.
What do you think that comes down to, though? Do you think that comes down to a bit of confidence issue, or do you think that comes down to your goalkeeper as a goalkeeper yourself? Like, is it my positioning in the goal? Or hold on, last game I gave too much space away on the far right hand, and goals were flying in left, right, centre through that side. Or is it like, no, I'm just gonna stick to my game plan. I'm just gonna stay away from the posts, but you're constantly vulnerable then, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the keeper off form who isn't sure about his position, isn't confident in his game. Ultimately, all players, whether that's a goalkeeper or outfield, when they're off form, a lot of it is down to what's going on between the mind, between the head. What's going on in there. And if you're not confident and you're second guessing yourself and you're not sure of yourself, it affects your and shows in the performances.
I'd like to come back to the point where you said, his errors have, cost about 6-7 goals. But from my personal opinion, I've seen Lloris do that for the last probably 3-4 seasons. He'll have a patch of very good games where, he's very quick off the line and making great saves and very unexpected saves, and then, saving penalties. And then you have, next patch of games where it's very consistent throughout his season. He'll have a good patch, bad patch, good patch, bad patch. And I think, from my perspective, I think it's time to call it a day for Lloris, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, he's currently still at the France #1, so he's under a lot of pressure there.
Thank you, guys. I mean, my next question is in terms of the second half. What was your take on the second half, Adil?
Second half was very similar to the first half. I mean, in terms of City was the team looking to play the football, dominate, and Spurs were looking to play on the counter-attack, and they set up to leave players. And I mean, a lot of people will knock the performances of Spurs in this game. I actually was surprised he didn't play more players behind the ball. In terms of, even though they were structured and organized, it wasn't structured and organized with overfilling the defense or the midfield. It was structured and organized in their shape, as in everyone gets behind the ball, but they're playing in their position. So those attacking players are still playing in those attacking positions. The biggest problem was it was reactive football. The pressing was reactive. So when the ball is getting built up from the defense, no one is pressing until the ball is played. So then you see in the Spurs players pressing where they're moving from one position to another position. They're running from man to man instead of having one guy press his man and them setting in zone for the next pass and press the next pass. What they're doing, they're running from the guy who passes the ball to the person it's passed to. Very reactive pressing, which was surprising. And City just grew in confidence after that second goal. It came so early, and you could tell, hitting the post from Kane in the first half, you know, once that didn't go in, it's like Spurs just did not believe in their attack after that. They did not have a meaningful attack after that post, in the post. So second goal, I think, just took the life out of the team, and they're just sitting ducks.
I mean, good points, but in terms of Guendogan and the impression he's making and the impact he's making in terms of these late runs and running to the boxes, and with his cool finishing, I mean, he's almost doing it like something like Aguero would do. What's your take on his current form and what he's doing to kind of like transform this City team?
I don't think there's a better midfielder than him, or attacking midfield. I don't even know sometimes what position the guy plays. You know, I don't think there's a better player than him in the Premier League at the moment. Maybe Grealish is on that caliber, but other than that, I don't see anyone that's better than him. His late runs into the box, his reading of the game, you know, poaching the ball last minute. The amount of time he actually dispossessed Lamela when Tottenham were trying to attack, it's crazy. I mean, 1 minute you see the guy, he's in the final third, and then all of a sudden he's bang centre mid, you know, winning the ball back, him and Bernardo. So, but I think that you have to give. It's not just him. I think a lot of it comes from the team compensating their position for him to have a bit more freedom as well. Because obviously Zinchenko would push, and then, you know, Rodri would push as well. So he's not worried about the back. I think he's more concentrating, you know, going forward. But at the moment, for me, one of the best midfielders in the league, if not in the world.
Are there any input on that?
Yeah, I mean, I would just add very underrated. And he's excelling in the absence of De Bruyne. He's given a bit more license, and he's getting in the box, and he's showing his quality in you know, to the world, really. And definitely for me, there's a strong case for him to be one of the favorites for Player of the Year. Since I think December, he scored the most goals in the league.
11 goals in 11 games.
Since the new year. And that doesn't even include the amount of assists he's getting. I mean, he got the assist for the first goal in the penalty. And he's another thing is, when they are playing in tight spaces, he is so classy and calm on the ball. Him and Bernardo, it must be really difficult. It reminds me of when Alex Ferguson was talking about the Pep's Barcelona teams, like playing against the Carousel. It feels like that with Bernardo and Guendogan in that midfield. You go press them, and they're just popping it around you in tight spaces, and they're so calm, and you can see they're 2 steps ahead of the press already. Whether it's 1 man, 2 man pressing them, they are just so comfortable on that ball in those tight spaces. And yeah, I mean, Man City's attack right now is a puzzle for any team. Is the fluidity of it, and like Maruf alluded to, you don't really know wherever anyone is playing because it's so interchangeable, and that's the thing that is scary. Is their understanding on and off the ball as a team is and football intelligence is just off the charts right now.
Thank you.
They don't give you a chance to breathe, in my opinion. They just don't.
Next question. I mean, if you look at the whole game, what's your take from the game, Adil?
Well, my biggest take was, I think Jose, maybe under fan pressure, was trying to set the team up to be a bit more positive than he normally would like. That played into City's hand. I mean, Ndombele is not, it's like the Gini Wijnaldum situation that Liverpool was saying recently. He's not good at that CDM position because he does not track runs behind. He just doesn't follow anyone, doesn't follow any runs. But the strange thing about Spurs' performance today was both CDMs just was not tracking any runs. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said for Guendogan and the intelligence of his runs. I mean, he's showing that Frank Lampard-esque timing and definitely blindside runs he's showing how intelligent he is, that he's spotting, and you can see he's waiting for the moment. He's not just darting in at the first opportunity. He's waiting for the opportunity where it's going to actually make a difference. When you see Foden, you see that impatience. As soon as that it's on, he's gone, and he ends up offside or before the play. But Guendogan's experience is showing he's waiting for the opportunity. He's waiting, and as soon as he knows that the play is registered, that's when he's taking it, and that's why he's getting all the plaudits and getting the assists and goals, is because of that extra bit of experience. But all of them are doing the same things, the same movements. But Guendogan's making it more effective is because of his football intelligence. He's recognizing the right times to do it. He's being patient with it. And I just felt, Spurs just could not get to grips. And you're going to play two CDMs. Someone has to track that run, especially if you're playing low rock block. And ultimately, it was quite a comfortable victory for City. And Spurs' attack was very blunt, one-dimensional. Even though they played on the counter, everything was individualistic. It wasn't a team that was looking to pass. There's a first half, Kane went on a run. He held on for it too long. Guendogan went on a run. Held on it. Lamela went on a run. So there were opportunities for breaks, and you could see the positivity in the runs. Loads of players running forward, rushing forward. But they never played the
lack of
ball.
ideas.
And then they got crowded out. Like Maru said, the City's intense, they just get crowded out. And you take a touch too many, that's it, the opportunity's gone. It's lost.
I mean, it's very quick in terms of how fast the City players get back. Because of what Zinchenko and Cancelo do, slowing the players down by coming into the central zones, it slows the whole play down, and it allows the other players to get back into position to actually block all the passing areas out.
Yeah, definitely, and very intelligent system.
Yeah. Thank you both for your contributions. Speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.